also worth noting the ongoing multi-year Russian mega project in Tuban, East Java, with the value of more than 15 billion US dollars. Now, on the other hand, Indonesian investment in Russia is relatively limited. So far, there is only PT Mayora that is operating in Russia and Belarus and continue to expand, selling products like coffee, instant biscuits, and Kopiko. So I can see that this kind of investment will further expand in the future. Now, in the area of tourism, there are increasing visitors from Russia to Indonesia in 2022, reached 74,000. From January to February 2023, there are already 42,000 Russian tourists in Indonesia. Now, Indonesian tourists to Russia is still very limited. Now, some of the challenges as we speak. There are, of course, we all know the payment systems due to sanctions. However, alternative payment system is now available. Russia has introduced financial messaging system of the Bank of Russia and Mir cards. We can utilize also currency of the third country, local currency settlements. Right now, Indonesia have already local currency settlements with Japan, China, and Thailand, and perhaps Malaysia. Of course, the challenges have to do with also logistical issue, insurance, trade routes. So far, there is no direct flight as yet. But there is also great opportunities based on my observation here in Russia and Belarus for the last 2 years, both with government officials and business sector, state enterprises and private enterprises. I can confidently say that there are strong interest and willingness from the Russian partners, from the Russian colleagues to enhance trade, investment, and tourism cooperation with Indonesia. So I encourage the business community in Indonesia to seize the opportunity available. And the Indonesian embassy in Moscow is ready to facilitate. So I am confident this webinar will encourage Indonesian business community to take part in the Eurasian Economic Forum in Moscow, principally on the Indonesia-Russia Trade Tourism Investment Forum, business-to-business meetings, and also Indonesia-Belarus business meetings that will be taking place here. The embassy will prepare to organize this meeting. So I encourage colleagues from Indonesia to participate in the coming Eurasian Economic Forum in Moscow to enhance trade, investment, and tourism relations between Indonesia and Russia. So finally, I wish a fruitful discussion towards Indonesia-Russia Trade Tourism and Investment Forum. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kurador. Thank you for your support, Mr. Ambassador, our beloved Ambassador. Thank you to your opening remarks for setting the stage for our discussion today. Hope you are doing good there, and hope we can work together with you for further development of our beloved country and with Russia. Now I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker. We'll delve deeper into the topic of Indonesia-Russia business opportunity and challenges amid crisis. Mas Menteri Sandiaga Uno, Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy, the floor is yours. Okay, it seems Mas Menteri will follow us a little bit later. We directly move to our speakers. The first speaker is Mr. Alex Vinin, Russian Trade Attaché in Jakarta for Republic of Indonesia. Mr. Alex, the floor is yours.
Okay. Could you hear me? Is everything okay? Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My name is Alexander Svinin. I'm the trade representative of the Russian Federation to the Republic of Indonesia. Your Excellency, thank you very much for your opening speech. It's a great privilege for me to be here today with you and to start our webinar. I hope that all of us will have a great time today and we can discuss our mutual opportunities in business and economic relationships. On behalf of the Russian diplomatic mission and behalf of Her Excellency Ambassador of Russia to Indonesia, Ms. Lyudmila Vorobyova, I'd like to wish all of us a fruitful discussion today, and I hope that we will have lots of requests and questions today from you. And please believe me, I will try to do my best and to answer to all of them and to provide you with the most reliable and interesting information how to do business in Russia. And if you don't mind, I'd like to start my presentation. I will share my screen and show you slides that I prepared for us today. Okay, 1 second. 1 second. Could you see my slides? Yes or not? Please say something, someone, if you can see my slides.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, let's start. Short information about our trade presentation, what it is, who we are, and what we are doing in Jakarta. I'm based in Jakarta. I came here 2 months ago. Previously, I held the same position in Singapore and in the Philippines. And Russian Trade Office or Russian Trade Representation is an official entity within the Russian diplomatic mission, providing assistance in development of bilateral trade, economic investment, and interregional cooperation between our countries. The Ministry of Industry and Trade of the Russian Federation provides overall management of the Russian trade representations. Basically, Russia has trade offices in 55 countries, and these countries are our main trading partners. And of course, as I said, we have a trade office in Jakarta, in Indonesia. Our 3 main focus areas are, you can see it on the slide. I think the most important for our audience today is that we are in charge of business connections for entrepreneurs from both countries. What does it mean? It means that, of course, we are Russian trade office here, and definitely we work with directly with Russian companies who want to enter Indonesian market. But we're here and we are open to work with any Indonesian company that wants to enter Russian market. So feel free to reach me, and my team and me, we will try to help you and to explain you how you can do business in Russia and what opportunities do you have today on the Russian market. Usually we work with 4 types of projects. And the first one and the largest one, of course, is bilateral trade of goods, food, and services. It means that any Russian company can request the support from ourselves to find a reliable buyer or seller partner in Indonesia. From the Russian side, we work directly with the end user, with the producers, manufacturers, factories, large Russian corporates, retail chains, small, medium enterprises. And we work with their requests on export products from Russia to Indonesia. And of course, we are working on the project of importing goods from Indonesia to Russia as well. And today we have lots of them. Later I will share with you some directions of potential cooperation in import from Indonesia to Russia as well. The second type of project is investment attraction. It means that we help Russian companies to attract investments from countries where we are staying, or of course we navigate Russian companies in investment projects in countries where we are staying. Like, for example, Rosneft at Tuban, His Excellency Ambassador mentioned today this large project, and we work directly with both parties of these investment projects from both countries. The third type of projects is setting up companies or representative offices in Indonesia. When any Russian company wants to open an entity in Indonesia, we support them with a legal opinion and with connecting them to reliable service providers. And the fourth one is technology exchange and innovation cooperation, especially in corporate sector. You know that Russia is one of the most well-developed country in the world regarding IT, for example, technologies or other innovation sectors, and we help Russian companies to find new technology partners in Indonesia. And on the other hand, we are happy to support any Indonesian technology company to find reliable client or technology partner within the Russia. Okay, just a few words about my country, Russian Federation. Russia is one of the largest countries in the world. You know, we have the population of 147 million people. It's very important, I think, for our mutual cooperation that approximately 10% of our population are Muslims, and all of these people are local Russians. They live in Russia for hundreds or thousands of years, and all nationalities in Russia and all religions in Russia live in peaceful and harmony society. Russia is one of the largest economy in the world. Today, Russia takes the 9th place for GDP rate. And it's very important to know, not only from Western media or newspapers, that current economic situation in Russia is very stable. As you can see from the slide, our current inflation rate on the year-to-year basis is only 3.15%. It's one of the lowest rate in the world, I think, today. And it shows that Russian companies and Russian entrepreneurs and Russian government or state-owned sector of economy are very stable today and can work very effectively. Our retail turnover last year was more than 500 billion USD. It's only retail turnover, internal retail turnover. It means that this amount Russians spend in shops, stores, or anywhere inside the country. It's very interesting that Russia is very private-orientated economy. We don't have a very large sector of state-owned companies. Basically, most numbers of Russian companies are private-owned. We have more than 7 million private-owned companies today in our country. And as His Excellency Ambassador said, Russia is one of the member of Eurasian Economic Union, and I hope that you, as a attendee of our business mission from Indonesia to Russia, will have a chance to take part in Eurasian Economic Forum, which will be in Moscow in the end of this May. And you have to know that Eurasian Economic Union has the population of 190 million people, and we really invite Indonesian importers to enjoy the newly introduced duties payment exemptions. In April 2022, the Eurasian Economic Union eliminated duties on 15% of our entire import. Eurasian Economic Union simplified certification procedures and made customs formalities faster and the border control easier. It means that inside the union, we don't have any customs or borders for goods movement. And it's very easy for Indonesian companies today to come to one of the Eurasian Economic Union members market and to work with the whole union as an internal market. I think it's a very interesting opportunity, and I hope that you will understand it more once you receive our invitation to Eurasian Economic Forum in Moscow May this year. Very interesting figures, I think, is to know Russian export and import overview. Last year, Russian turnover of export and import operations was more than 850 billion USD, and the growth was more than 8% on year-to-year basis. Last year was the record year for Russia in export operations. We did more than 591 billion USD in our export, and we're still one of the largest importer. We imported last year. It's only about goods. These figures are not about services. It's only about goods. Last year we did an import more than 259 billion USD. And you can see on the slide our main trading partners, which are China, Turkey, Netherlands, Germany, and Belarus. Regarding bilateral trade between Indonesia and Russia, again, I have to remind you of these figures. Last year, we did more than 3.5 billion USD in our bilateral trade between our countries. And the growth on year-to-year basis was more than 29%. I think it's a great result of our companies and entrepreneurs. And I hope that this webinar and other events from our side or from Indonesian side will ensure you that you are really welcome on the Russian market. And you see that export from Indonesia last year was more than 1.3 billion USD, and import to Indonesia from Russia was more than 2.1 billion USD. Here on the slide, you can see potential export opportunities from Russia, what you can buy from Russia and what you can export from import from Russia to Indonesia. There are lots of different products. You can see them on the slide. And the last one, but not the least, are IT solutions and technology innovation. We see a huge demand from Russian IT companies to enter Indonesian markets. So we are always looking for new partners here who can provide them with the support, who can navigate them, and who can act as a maybe integrator for them and help them to find their audience in Indonesia. And here you can see potential import opportunities to Russia. What we are looking for, first, of course, it's not the full list. Of course, we can work with any products, but today we have requests from Russian retail chains and producers on these four sectors. The first one is agriculture products and food. The second one is electronic devices for personal use. The third one is industrial equipment, and the fourth one is FMCG goods. So if you are a producer of these products, if you has the connection with the producer from these sectors, please let us know. I will leave my contacts in the chart, and I will be more than happy to connect you directly with a potential buyer on the Russian side. It's very important to know how you can go to market. All these photos are real. These bears live in Kuril Island in Russia, in the east part of our country. The first advice from my side, how you can test the potential market, how you can evaluate will your product fit the market or not. Of course, is e-commerce. E-commerce in Russia is very fast developing industry. Last year, e-commerce turnover was more than 80 billion USD. Russians last year did more than 2.8 billion orders. If you remember, we have only 147 million people in population. It's this figure includes our child and elderly person. So the number is very huge. And Russians really understand how to buy through e-commerce, and e-commerce platforms are very popular. But it's very interesting to know that in Russia, we don't use global e-commerce platforms like Amazon or eBay, for example. Of course, they have a presence in Russia, but the market share is very, very limited. Basically, we use our own national e-commerce platforms like Wildberries or Ozon, for example. And these platforms all of these platforms have special projects for foreign producers or sellers. So we can work with you if you'd like to discover this opportunity, how to sell your products in Russia via e-commerce. We can help you and navigate you how you can do it. Now, of course, their second way is to find importer or distributor. As well, our trade office can support you in this regard and help you to find the reliable partner. And the third one is to open an entity. In Russia, you can open very easily entity with 100% of foreign ownership. So again, if you need a support, we can explain you how to, in details, how you can open an entity. It will take only 5 working days and maybe two weeks to open a bank account today. And of course, as I said on my first slide, Ministry of Industry and Trade of the Russian Federation is our home ministry, and of course we are interested in co-production projects inside the country, inside Russia, because Russian government today is open to find new foreign companies that want to come to the Russian market, not only to sell something, but to produce something with partnership with the Russian companies. I think it's very similar what we can see on the Indonesian market. We see that we have a huge demand for foreign investments, not only in financial direction, not only in money, but in technologies and in competences and in labor. And of course, we have the same willingness inside our country. And if you represent, for example, any production facility, please again reach us and we can discuss. So from these slides, you can see that on the one hand, Russia has a very stable economy today, and the market is still huge. You can see that we import a lot of different products from all over the world, and the number is very huge. Again, 259 billion USD in import last year. And we are ready, and we will be more than happy to work with any Indonesian companies. And we really like to say you thank you for your time today. And here you can find my personal email address. Again, I will be more than happy to receive your requests for the support. Thank you very much. It was my short speech. I hope it was interesting. And please, next speaker, the floor is yours. And I'm open to answer to all of your questions. Thank you so much again. Thank you for organizer of this webinar. Thank you, Ms. Hanzella, Ms. Yelena, and again, my great thank you, Your Excellency, Ambassador. This summer, I'll be in Moscow, and I hope that I will have a chance to meet you in person. Thank you so much. Terima kasih.
Sama-sama, Mr. Swinin. Thank you for your valuable insight on market trends in Russia. And the question and answer will be followed a little bit later, Mr. Swinin. And now I would like to move on to our keynote speakers, Mrs. Siti Aziza, the Deputy for Entrepreneurship of the Ministry of Cooperatives and SMEs. Mrs. Siti Aziza, the floor is yours.
Udah bisa naik? Udah kok, udah dihitung.
Okay. While we are waiting for Mrs. Aziza, please, Madam, the floor is yours.
Yes, Mas Iksan, apologize that I couldn't come in time due to other meeting just finished. So anyway, I will share the Indonesia-Russia Trade Investment Forum. So could you please share the file?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I will start with the Indonesian at a glance about the the size of the SMEs, the micro, small, and medium enterprises, which with the turnover as well. So, but I need the figure.
Lihat Ibu. Bentar, Ibu.
Okay, while waiting for it, so today we have about 64 to 65 million business, consisting of 99% is in the micro business, and just 0.3% on the small side, 0.06% medium, and the rest is large. So basically, that's the so the slide is not really appear.
Sebentar Ibu, sedang di-set.
Oh, okay. Okay, so from this 65 million, the SMEs, 64.5% owned by women, and 25% already go digital, and about 3.47% on the entrepreneurship. So the population of the business actually consisting of, as I mentioned before, 99.6% in micro. So we are, SMEs is actually contribute about 60% of the Indonesian GDP, and 97% labor, means that yeah, this one, and we are contributing 15% to total Indonesian export numbers. So this is actually the what I can share to you about Indonesian SMEs. The next is if we are talking about the sector itself. So majority our SMEs. Next slide, please. So majority of the SMEs is doing wholesale and trade. And food and beverage and other services. And if we look at the next slide, yeah, okay. So actually about 37% in the wholesale and retail is doing by male, and also the red line is on a female. So this is all sectors majority in Indonesia. So if we look at the first two is wholesale, retail, and F&B. Next slide. If we okay, so this is some overview on the Indonesia-Russia trade. So we know that Russia is a potential market for Indonesian product, and in the central and eastern European region. And we do have some data from the Ministry of Trade that the value of Indonesia-Russia trade in 2021 is about 2,746 billion, with a total export of Russia of 1,492 billion. So it's quite huge. So in 2022, the value of trade between the country was about 3,567 billion US dollar, or up about 30% from last year, or from 2021. Okay, so this is the figure that we have on the So if you look at the trend from 1991 to 1992, it's up about 30%. Next is about potential of.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Siti Aziza, for interruption. Your sound is not so clear. Maybe yeah. There's another sound behind. Thank you.
Okay, let me check because I'm alone here. Maybe because the network.
Maybe because the document, it's like while moving the document, yeah, it's too near to the microphone.
Okay,
Please,
okay,
Mrs.
sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I hope it's clear.
Clear, Ibu.
Okay, so this is the potential export of Indonesian SMEs. So a lot of commodities here, starting from crude palm oil up to electronic equipment. So this is the commodities with value-added product, local brand with international standards. So you can mention about the spa, footwear, coffee. We are very good on that. Copra, natural rubber, vegetable oil, steel, toys, and animal. So this all coming from SMEs, and we are looking at the very good potential to be exported to Russia. Okay, next slide. The challenges, of course, there is always a challenge and opportunity from all the businesses that we currently have, where Indonesia-Eurasian Economic Union Free Trade, which Russia is a member of Eurasian Economic Union. And we also see the opportunity as an entry point for Indonesian product to EAU market, consisting of 4 countries, Armenia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan. And we also see the opportunity for Indonesia to enter the global market to increase cooperation and export, especially to Russia. So a lot of challenges, but also a lot of opportunities we see. Okay, next. Okay, if we look at the Russian customer behavior, this is based on Nielsen and Santander. So they are impulsive, have a strong brand loyalty, and attached to the brand and loyalty itself.
Ya, Ibu.
On average, they spend about 80% of income, wellness and other things. So I think this is the opportunity for us as well to have the agreement. I mean, to export to Russia. Next slide.
Mas Momar, tolong next slide, Mas.
So other challenges and opportunity weakness. This is also happened in the in the export to other countries, and significantly increasing in the freight prices for the export cargo, and disruption of supply chain and duration of delivery times. This is all the challenges that we have. We are facing currently, and if we look at the production costs, is also increased due to increasing in the energy costs, and the government needs to immediately make the right decision to ensure that the supply chain's efficiency and the mitigation of skyrocketing oil prices. I think this also happened in other countries, and we believe that the challenges that we currently have, it's also happened to some country. Okay, next. I think last but not least about challenges that we currently face, and we see also the opportunity. The government, we also have some efforts that both the government need to facilitate SME to participate in domestic exhibition. This is the only way that we can, we can show what is the Indonesian product from, SMEs product from Indonesia. And we also need to facilitate SMEs to participate in the foreign exhibition through online business matching. We do have some with other countries, and I think this is also need to be implemented, need to be developed with Russia as well. And the most important thing is accessible information, which is providing the marketing intelligence. So we need to know exactly what they need, what kind of product they need, and what kind of price range and so on, and other marketing information. So last but not least is, of course, the technical advisory for the designed innovation. So this is the what needs to be done, and what needs to also be done by the both government, Indonesia and Russia. So I think that's all from me, and I do hope that what we share can also be very helpful to both parties, and hope we have a very good discussion. Thanks a lot. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mrs. Siti Aziza, for a valuable insight on the current business landscape of Indonesia. And we currently know there are potential that can be exported to Russia. And we hope, of course, for a great contribution for the sustainable development in these relations. And next, I would like to invite our next keynote speakers from the Ministry, Coordinating Ministry of for Economic Affairs, the Deputy Representative for Trade Facilities, Mr. Tatang Yuliono. For Mr. Tatang, the floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih kepada moderator Pak Iksan Kiat. Yang terhormat Duta Besar Indonesia untuk Rusia, yang terhormat Duta Besar Rusia untuk Indonesia, dan Mas Menteri, Bapak Sandiaga Uno ataupun yang mewakili, dan Ibu Siti Aziza, serta pembicara yang lain. Pak Moderator, Pak Iksan, apakah saya diperkenankan untuk menyampaikan presentasi saya dalam bahasa Indonesia, karena akan bicara tentang detail, dan saya perhatikan di peserta banyak sekali peserta dari Indonesia. Apakah diperkenankan?
Ya, silakan Pak. Sure.
Terima kasih.
Silakan.
Terima kasih. Kami akan memulai, tim kami untuk bisa share slide. Yang pertama kami ingin sampaikan permohonan maaf dari Bapak Menteri Perekonomian, Koordinator Perekonomian Indonesia, Pak Erlangga Hartarto, karena ada acara Hannover Messe di Jerman, sehingga beliau tidak bisa hadir dalam acara kita, Indonesia-Russia Trade and Investment, dan mewakilkan pada kami untuk menyampaikan beberapa poin-poin penting terkait hubungan Indonesia dan Rusia, terutama terkait dengan perdagangan dan investasi. Next slide. Tentu konflik yang terjadi saat ini antara Rusia dan Ukraina sejak tahun 2022, tentu kita pahami menyebabkan tidak hanya perekonomian Rusia yang mengalami gangguan, tetapi secara global tentu berimpact pada kita semua, terutama Indonesia juga merasakan impact yang cukup kuat sekali terkait dengan adanya konflik tersebut. Perekonomian Rusia memang terjadi kontraksi sebesar -2% dengan adanya penurunan daripada permintaan domestik, termasuk investasi akibat dari pengenaan sanksi internasional atas konflik yang terjadi antara Ukraina dan Rusia. Inflasi tentu melonjak hingga ke angka 13,77%, serta volume ekspor dan impor juga terkontraksi masing-masing -6,18% dan -14,95% pada tahun 2022. Tentu ini akan bisa terupdate dengan kondisi-kondisi ataupun data-data yang disampaikan oleh pembicara yang lain. Next slide. Bapak Ibu sekalian, para peserta webinar yang terhormat, tetapi pada tahun 2023 sampai tahun 2024, diprediksi ekonomi Rusia akan mengalami kenaikan atau mulai bisa mengatasi atas gangguan ekonomi yang terjadi karena konflik tersebut, karena adanya upaya untuk melakukan peralihan negara-negara tujuan ekspor energi Rusia dari yang sebelumnya ke Uni Eropa, yang tadi kami sampaikan mengenakan sanksi, ke negara lain seperti Cina dan India. Sehingga besar harapan kami, potensi dari penguatan perekonomian yang ada di Rusia pada tahun 2023 dan 2024 bisa kita manfaatkan atau dimanfaatkan oleh para eksportir Indonesia. Next slide. Perdagangan Rusia sangat tergantung kepada Uni Eropa. Hal ini karena Uni Eropa menguasai sekitar 38% pangsa pasar di Rusia. Tidak hanya itu, impor Rusia juga mayoritas berasal dari Uni Eropa. Sehingga antara Rusia dan Eropa tentu kita pahami merupakan dua uni atau dua negara besar yang saling tergantung antara impor dan ekspornya. Terlihat pada slide kami, data-data yang menunjukkan berapa besar dan top 10 daripada produk ekspor maupun produk impor yang terjadi antara Uni Eropa dan Rusia. Tentu data-data ini bisa kita manfaatkan melihat berapa besar yang akan menurun dari sisi ekspor dari Uni Eropa dan juga bisa kita manfaatkan. Next. Tetapi sejak Februari 2022, Uni Eropa masih mengenakan sanksi perdagangan kepada Rusia sebagai dampak dari konflik antara Rusia dan Ukraina. Uni Eropa melarang sejumlah barang dari Rusia masuk ke Uni Eropa serta melarang sejumlah barang untuk ekspor ke Rusia. Data-data ini tentu bisa menjadi input bagi pelaku usaha Indonesia dalam hal perdagangan internasional untuk mengisi pasar-pasar Rusia yang memang dilarang diisi oleh Uni Eropa. Daftar barang sebagaimana slide yang kami sampaikan bisa menjadi kata kunci atau informasi penting bagi para pelaku usaha untuk mengisi kekosongan barang-barang yang selama ini diisi oleh Eropa. Next. Akibat dari larangan dan sanksi tersebut, next slide. Nilai ekspor dari Uni Eropa ke Rusia pada tahun 2022 turun menjadi 58,15 juta US dollar dari sebelumnya 104,40 juta US dollar. Ini menurun sekitar 44%. Beberapa komoditas ekspor Uni Eropa ke Rusia yang mengalami penurunan seperti plastik, kertas, karet, barang dari besi dan baja dapat menjadi peluang dari Indonesia untuk meningkatkan nilai ekspor ke Rusia. Tentu ini seperti yang beberapa kali kami sampaikan, peluang-peluang ini bisa sangat mungkin kita isi dengan adanya kekosongan dan tingkat kebutuhan yang cukup tinggi di Rusia. Next slide. Bagaimana kinerja ekonomi Indonesia? Tentu pertumbuhan ekonomi Indonesia alhamdulillah menunjukkan peningkatan yang sangat-sangat signifikan, di mana pertumbuhan ekonomi Indonesia itu mencapai 5,01%, di mana didukung oleh ekspor yang tumbuh sebesar 14,93%, serta ditopang oleh sektor-sektor utama, yaitu manufaktur dan berbasis mobilitas yang tumbuh sangat signifikan. Data-data di atas ini juga menjadi input kekuatan Indonesia untuk mengisi barang-barang ke Eropa, ke Rusia, dan ekonomi Indonesia sangat-sangat baik, sangat kondusif untuk mendorong ekspor Indonesia. Next. Kemudian neraca perdagangan Indonesia pun kembali kita patut bersyukur bahwa selama beberapa bulan sejak 2020, jadi hampir 3 tahun, hampir 34 bulan berturut-turut Indonesia menunjukkan tren surplus kita saat ini diberikan satu rahmat untuk bisa menikmati betapa ekspor kita cukup tinggi dibanding dengan impor kita, walaupun memang didominasi oleh ekspor-ekspor sumber daya alam kita. Tetapi memang kita sedang mendorong hilirisasi, sehingga bagaimana sumber daya alam yang saat ini kita ekspor masih dalam bentuk mentah, kita akan dorong untuk menjadi hilirisasi, menjadi barang jadi ataupun barang setengah jadi, sehingga nilai-nilai ekspor kita akan terus meningkat setelah adanya program hilirisasi untuk meningkatkan nilai tambah sumber daya alam Indonesia. Ini sangat tinggi kenaikan kita, di mana sejak Februari 2023, kemarin 2023, kita mengalami surplus sebesar 5,48 miliar. Ini menunjukkan tren yang terus-menerus sejak 34 bulan, di mana sumbangsihnya adalah dari sektor non-migas, yaitu sebesar 6,70 miliar US dollar, yang dimana sebelumnya di tahun 2022 surplus perdagangan kita mencapai 40,46 miliar di tahun 2022. Kami masih optimis di kantor Minko, perekonomian Indonesia ditopang dengan ekspor kita akan tetap bisa menunjukkan peningkatan sampai masa yang akan datang. Kita tetap akan mempertahankan tren ini agar tetap surplus, dan dengan adanya pasar yang terbuka di Rusia, kami sangat berharap sekali bisa diisi oleh para eksportir Indonesia untuk meningkatkan nilai ekspor Indonesia. Next. Sementara itu, neraca perdagangan Indonesia dengan Rusia memang mengalami defisit, di mana defisit di tahun 2022 menjadi yang terdalam karena memang ada dampak daripada sanksi dan adanya konflik Ukraina-Rusia. Itu defisit kita itu sampai ke angka 794 juta US dollar. Komoditas utama ekspor Indonesia ke Rusia adalah minyak sawit, dan komoditas utama impor kita dari Rusia adalah batu bara. Tentu dengan adanya webinar ini kita bisa membuka ruangan bagaimana kelapa sawit ekspor kita bisa kita tingkatkan ke Rusia. Kemudian next, konflik yang terjadi antara Rusia dan Ukraina juga memberikan dampak terhadap Indonesia, diantaranya adalah kenaikan harga daripada crude palm oil (CPO), di mana akibat terganggunya suplai minyak bunga matahari yang disuplai Rusia dan Ukraina, kenaikan harga minyak mentah di dunia, kenaikan harga biji besi, serta pengiriman ekspor ke Indonesia ke Rusia tertunda karena pelayaran ke Rusia sedang berhenti. Ini terjadi di beberapa bulan ataupun beberapa tahun setelah adanya perang Rusia-Ukraina. Karena adanya beberapa pelabuhan yang mengalami penutupan di Rusia maupun Ukraina. Next. Kemudian untuk memperluas pasar ekspor Indonesia dan negara-negara Persatuan Ekonomi Eurasia, EAEU, di mana salah satu anggotanya adalah Rusia, kita memiliki beberapa FTA yang ada beberapa yang sudah proses dan ada yang beberapa yang sudah kita implementasikan. Tentu ini akan menjadi satu ruangan kita menggunakan free trade agreement kita dengan negara-negara Eurasian untuk kita tingkatkan pasar ekspor kita di negara-negara tersebut. Next. Pemulihan ekonomi, kami akan masuk ke dalam poin terkait dengan investasi, karena kami mendapatkan dua topik, yaitu perdagangan dan investasi. Untuk investasi, pemulihan ekonomi di tahun 2022 mendorong pertumbuhan realisasi penanaman modal yang cukup tinggi, di mana pada triwulan 4 tahun 2022, pertumbuhan realisasi daripada investasi mencapai 2,3%. Cukup tinggi untuk realisasi daripada investasi di Indonesia. Next. Untuk mencapai target investasi di tahun 2023, pemerintah fokus pada regulasi dan prosedur kemudahan berusaha, serta pemberian insentif untuk pelaku usaha. Hal ini dilakukan dengan membangun iklim investasi yang sehat dan kompetitif dengan mengeluarkan berbagai kebijakan-kebijakan, penyederhanaan, regulasi berusaha, dan insentif perpajakan maupun insentif kepabeanan yang ada di Indonesia. Bapak Ibu sekalian, dua topik terkait dengan perdagangan dan investasi telah kami sampaikan. Kami terbuka untuk mendapatkan masukan maupun pertanyaan dari para peserta moderator.
Thank you, Pak Tatang, for the presentation. Maybe I would like to highlight some point. The main point is as a result of sanction from European Union, there is a change. There is a decrease in the
product that
how
will
could I
go.
say that? Yeah, the product that comes to Russia from Europe. Among others, there are rubber, plastics, there are cosmetics, also paper, and there are potential products that actually Indonesia can replace or can export to Russia. So while we have seen the trade balance with Russia, also it experiences decrease, and we see also the investment target. So both trade and investment could be our opportunity behind ambiguities, behind uncertainty. So I would like to move to the next speakers. I would like to please Mr. Jeremy Kumalas, Trade Attaché of Republic of Indonesia in Moscow. Mr. Jeremy, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Iksan. Let me just first share the screen to you all. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. His Excellency Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy of the Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Sandiaga Uno, His Excellency Ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia for the Russian Federation in Moscow, Mr. Jose Tavares, Her Excellency Ambassador of the Russian Federation for the Republic of Indonesia in Jakarta, Mrs. Lyudmila Vorobyeva, esteemed key speakers from the Coordinating Ministry of Economic Affairs and the Ministry of Cooperatives and SMEs of the Republic of Indonesia, fellow speakers, as well as the organizer of this event, and last but not least, all honored participants. A very good afternoon for those of you who are in Indonesia right now, and very good morning for those of you who are in Russia, where we experience the sun is shining very brightly here in Moscow. First of all, I would like to present my gratitude for the organizer of this webinar for providing me with the opportunity to speak about trade between Russia and Indonesia. As mentioned by the moderator, I am Jeremy Kumayas. I am Trade Attaché of the Indonesian Embassy here in Moscow. And I'm also a government officer of the Ministry of Trade of the Republic of Indonesia. Okay, after the next 10 to 15 minutes, I hope all of you will have useful insights of one of the important aspects of relation between the two countries, in this case, trade relation between Indonesia and Russia. At the beginning of my presentation, I must stress that what I'm about to present is based on my observation and experience working as trade attaché, Indonesian trade attaché in Russia. Well, to be precise, Moscow, most of the time, for a little more than 1 year, and of course, still counting. Okay, let me just present to you, as you can see in the screen, the trade balance between Russia and Indonesia. Perhaps there's slightly different figures between what I present now and the previous speakers. Well, I've got this data. The source is from Federal Customs Services of the Russian Federation. In 2021, the total trade balance between the two countries reached the amount of $3.3 billion, and it increased of about 33% to the amount of $4.4 billion in 2022. And in 2021, Indonesia experienced surplus in big amount, 1.9 billion US dollars. Our export, Indonesian export to Russia, is well over 2-something billion US dollars, and Russian export to Indonesia is still below $1 billion US dollars. But that figure changed in 2022, where Indonesia experienced deficit, but not that big, only around 47 million US dollars. But this is for me, it's a good news if you take a look at the big picture, because at least Russia have shown their ability to export, especially fertilizer, to supply Indonesian needs for agriculture sector, which this is good because, as the special situation occurring recently, we have some kind of problem on the fertilizer, but as Indonesia is a friendly country to the Russia, and Russia can provide us with the, I think, most important things for our farmers in agricultural sector. Okay, this is the figure. By the way, in 2022, at last, Russia reached billion-dollar figures. In 2022, Russia export to Indonesia is around 2.2-something billion US dollars. And this is the commodities that being traded in 2022 from Indonesia to Russia on your left side of the screen, and Russia export to Indonesia on your right side of the screen. As you can see, these 10 goods I picked, which with the amount of the trade is well below 10 million US dollars for these 10 products. It's not necessarily the top 10 products, but this for all of these products, each in the amount of well above 10 million US dollars. As you can see, the products is not necessarily consist of mainly end products. The products shown here is semi-finished. Most of them is semi-finished products, not the end product. So what does this mean? This means that we can still diversify and increase the trade, especially in the trade of finished products, to be sold in the end to the end customer or the ordinary consumers. As you can see, even if I'm not just talking about trade, if we go to investment sectors, for all the businessmen or women present here in this webinar, you can see there are still opportunities. Perhaps you can invest in Russia with the big amount of palm oil exported from Indonesia to Russia, and this palm oil or its derivatives is used to produce end products. So perhaps if Indonesian companies are interested in investing in Russia, they can enter that kind of facility or sector or business sectors. Vice versa with Russia, they export in big amount, very big amount of fertilizer. Perhaps Russian business can, have an idea to open a fertilizer plant, because this potash is not the finished products; it's only semi-finished products that you can be processed further. So these kind of things, you can get a picture, which commodities or sectors that can be do the investment, and then what kind of products or goods that still can be exported between the two countries, especially if you take a look at the finished products opportunities, because like in Indonesia, we very much encouraged the export of finished products, finished goods, not just semi-finished products. As you can see, for mineral or steel, President's policy is to export on finished products, not just raw products, raw materials, and things like that. So I'm not just talking about the goods itself, but also the trade in goods, but also the investment opportunities. You can find one, I think, I know the business sector is very creative, more creative than myself. That's why I joined a civil servant and now I'm trade attaché. Okay, so next slide. Okay, so because I will talk much about trade, so I think there's three things you have to consider careful in doing trade, especially with other countries. How do you do the payment, and what about the freight, or as well as the technical regulation of the goods being traded itself. Okay, so I think my ambassador have just said that there's a, let's say the payment is not very smooth nowadays compared to perhaps 2 or 3 years previously, but still we can do the payment. I think if I'm not mistaken, my ambassador has said through third countries like China, India, or United Arab Emirates. Those are the 3 countries that's most common to be used for the regarding the payment sectors. And by the way, it's not just if you want to use the third countries. I think this is I have this information from the financial authorities of Republic of Indonesia in Jakarta that money still can flow between Russia and Indonesia, but it's only by means of telegraphic transfer. That's it, telegraphic transfer. Because I've been informed that the volume of transactions is still big between Russia and Indonesia, whether it is incoming transfer to Indonesia from Russia or outgoing transfer from Indonesia to Russia. It cannot be done through trade facilitation mechanism such as a letter of credit or LC, but still telegraphic transfer still can be done. The officer even mentioned that there are, for example, an outgoing transfer of the amount exceeding $10 million from Indonesia to Russia. I suspect this is for the payment of fertilizer. I suspect that. And then for the freight sectors, yes, in the pandemic time, the cost of freight is very much inflated, because of the policy of restriction all around the world that's been imposed. But nowadays, I also got this information from Russia logistic companies and even also from the Indonesian logistic company that the cost is now in the amount of pre-pandemic. So I think it's what the previous speakers mentioned. I think although perhaps it is still hard, but there's still a way. There's still a way because some of logistic companies can give their services in the cost just prior the pandemic era, which I think it has been lowered. And then for technical regulation, what I mean by this technical regulation is regarding in terms of standards or regulation that is imposed on the traded, exported, or imported goods. If, as we also know that Russia is, at least from my past experience working in Indonesian mission to the WTO, Russia is classified as a developed countries in WTO, and Indonesia is still developing countries. But in terms of standard of goods or technical regulation of goods, I think both countries are implementing or applying international standards that can be accepted all around the world, at least between WTO members. But since Indonesia and Russia is WTO members, so I think there is no problem, you know. Perhaps if you are an SMEs company, you have to ask officers from Ministry of Trade or Ministry of Industry that can help you with fulfilling the standard of technical regulation which in place in Russia or in Indonesia. And I think I don't want to waste your time any longer, dear participants. So I will end my note on that technical regulation explanation, and spasiba or terima kasih. I'll give the screen to you, moderator. Thank you.
Thank you,
Pak
Mr.
Jeremy.
Jeremy. Yeah, for information. Sure. Please, Mbak Hanzela. Is there any things to highlight? Maybe I will highlight some points. So we see the clear list of potential product that we can export and that we can import to Indonesia. And this is gonna be more realistic if we come to Moscow to visit the expo and meet the representatives, meet the businessmen there, and do MOU and talk more about the sustainable development in business partnership. So I would like to remind you again that this webinar acts as the road to our event, Indonesia and Russian Dialogue in Moscow, May 2023, that will be held in the framework of Eurasian Economic Forum. And also, I would like to invite all of you, Indonesian businessmen, UKM or small medium enterprises, to be brave to come to Russia and to grab these opportunities. So next, from Mr. Hanzela, any words to add to our audience?
Yes, so basically we want to welcome all the Indonesian company, SMEs, and like what Pak Tatang already mentioned on the presentation of Ministry of Trade, that because of the sanction that the Russians have, so we Indonesian with our product can fill the market in Russia, so we can sell our product there. And then of course we will be helped by Mr. Ambassador and then Mr. Jeremy, of course, to help us for anything that we need to prepare. Also Mr. Alex also will be help us for this matter. And then I will invite everyone to come with us on May to be able to check by themselves the market in Russia. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Miss Hanzela, for the information. So this is the right moment, my dear audience. Maybe it's one in the century. So let's grab the moment. We have all supports, we have all assistance, and we have the event that we can attend. Next, I would like to move on our keynote speakers. Miss Shana Fatina, President of Labuan Bajo Flores Tourism Authority, and also representing as well as representing Mas Menteri, Minister of Tourism and Creative Works. So the floor is yours. Let's take it away, Miss Shana.
Okay, thank you, Mas Iksan. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. It's been a pleasure and an honor for us here to present Labuan Bajo Forest Tourism Authority. So we are part of the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy, and we are handling the management of integrating tourism destination in Labuan Bajo Forest area. So actually, in this opportunity, I would like to say thank you to Mr. Ambassador and also Mbak Hanzela for inviting us to share here. As you know, we want to introduce Labuan Bajo, especially Indonesian, as one of the top destination that already being bring by the Indonesian government this last 5 years. And at the moment, we increasing our TTDI index, which is the Travel and Tourism Development Index, from the 44 to the 32nd for the last year. And we also have the best place for archipelago experience with over than 70,000 islands of Indonesian regions. And it has cultural, diverse, and also a very exotic place for tourism and travel. And why is Nusa Tenggara? So maybe part of you already heard about the Komodo dragon. So that is where we are belong. We have this, the home of the living lizard on Earth, the Komodo dragon, and one of the UNESCO World Heritage Site. And also here we have a lot of islands that also offering one fruitful experience. So directly go to Labuan Bajo. I want to introduce you our location, which is Parapuar. Para means gate and Puar means forest. So it will be the area that we want to explore as one of the top destination in Labuan Bajo. So Labuan Bajo, knowing as the best of the marine tourism, either than the commercial park, it also has the very biodiversity in marine. We have the big manta rays and the best place for do diving. And until today, we have Labuan Bajo development up to 10 billion US dollar investment from government and private. And we are targeting this year to be in 25 million US dollar for Labuan Bajo. So the taste is Labuan Bajo for a world-class sustainable premium quality tourism destination with a commercial park as a World Heritage Site, and also to explore SDGs in the area. So we have themes in Labuan Bajo for group, MICE, shopping, and culture, and also nature, and we have everything in this area. I want to show you what the government has done the last 3 years within the pandemic situation. So if you have been here before pandemic, everything is totally different now. We have this waterfront area, we have the seafood market, Batu Cermin Cave, we have a lot of support for the waste management, and then more for water access. And also we have this international airport that can bring you near to the Australia or from Southeast Asia, from Singapore for a direct flight. And also we have a lot of facilities for electronic vehicles and then premium pedestrian that you can see in the area. So for the last years, we already introduced Labuan Bajo from the Maritime Festival, from the Cultural Festival, sport tourism. We have this marathon area happening in the area. And you can see the growth of the visitors. So within pandemic, Labuan Bajo is the most the fastest destination that recover, because we already grow our flight from to Labuan Bajo, becoming 1,200 seats per day, and it will be to become 3,000 seats per day, and we aim for 1 million tourism within 2 years in a row. And what we have here, actually not only accommodation, of course, at the moment we are very happy becoming the hometown for the Asian Summit 2023, and it will be held more than 30,000, especially 11 leaders from ASEAN will come to Labuan Bajo, and then it will be open for international tourists to see that we need more accommodation, we need more restaurant amenities that is open for opportunities. So in the long term, of course, Labuan Bajo is a very fragile destination, yeah, because we are offering our biodiversity. That's why we already limit our target market to maximum to 4 million per year. It means if you come to Labuan Bajo, then we will be one of the most selected ones. So directly we are offering this Parapuar. So Parapuar is a destination near inside Labuan Bajo city. Of course, we have 400 hectares that being offered for investment. And this can complete your experience to Labuan Bajo, not only to the national park, but also in the highland area in the town. You can have a lot of attraction here, sightseeing, overnight, wellness tourism, adventure, and also to learn more about the biodiversity, of course. And this is what we offer. We have like 4 zones. First one is the cultural zone. Second one is the adventure, the leisure zone. Zone 3 is a wildlife zone, and Zone 4 is the adventure zone. You can see here one by one. So basically, the area is 400 hectares, and we at the moment we are looking for like family resort, hotel, mice, investor, also for cultural space, commercial village, and all the local experience that we can manage together. What it makes different our place from the other one is because we have this offering for the special economic zone incentive. If you are coming to Labuan Bajo, we have this tax holiday, tax allowance, and then non-fiscal benefits, like we are directly handled only by our office, so you won't have miscommunication with the local government and etc. because we serve you in one space. So here are the details that the investment that we're looking for. We're also looking for partners for infrastructure, for example, like the roadways, drainage, pedestrian, utility box, lighting, energy, resource, and etc. This is what we already have. So we have this basic infrastructure. Our land is directly heading to the airport. So you can see the airport from above. And then we already have 1.5 kilometers road access with the width of 14 meters. And then we have this commercial village to offer, that we can have this small commercial center in the area. We also have cultural and MICE center that to be offered. There will be the space for a cultural performance art representing the East Nusa Tenggara, and also for MICE activities, which is now grow very fast in Labuan Bajo. For you who are really interested and want to support research and technology, Labuan Bajo is the best place to launch your high-end technology, especially for renewable technologies, for renewable energy, for renewable, for example, like reducing water use and how to make things in the world better, because Labuan Bajo is definitely balancing between life, the people, planet, and also prosperity. For you that really like experience in adventure, we have this cave also to offer. We can manage it together. So basically, it's a nature cave that we can do a caving experience with the special interest tourists. This is the view from our viewpoint. And this is the investment proposal that we already have in mind, but actually it will be, it's only for description for us to have a insight about what is really working on in the area. So the land is between 1 to 2 hectares. And then this what we are offering from scheme for build operate from BOT, JO, and etc. So don't worry about local people, because we all have this empowerment and incubators for local people that able to fill the labor market in your area if you want to invest in Labuan Bajo. So I want to share you some of the insight from our investors so far to Labuan Bajo area. We have from Marriott, from St. Regis, and also from AirAsia, that will be our first international direct flight to Labuan Bajo. And in upcoming, there will be more brands come to Labuan Bajo, and also we already have local brands. And at the moment, of course, we still need more, around 1,000 more luxury rooms, yeah, to fulfill our target. Labuan Bajo can be visit up to 1 million passenger per year. Last but not least, why invest to Parapuar, to Labuan Bajo? Of course, it's strategic location. You have the unique experience and a popular destination at the moment, and then not only for foreign tourists but also for local tourists. So I think the circulation of the finance is really good here. And then you have the Komodo dragons, of course, and we have this international connectivities, and at the moment becoming the national priority project. So you won't walk alone. We will have you will have attention from us, and we will assist you to invest to Labuan Bajo. So looking forward to work together. And for information, a lot of Russian people come to Labuan Bajo actually, yeah. One of my friends also, my colleague is also have deaf operators, some have some young and etc. So I think it's really interesting for a Russian market to enter Labuan Bajo. Thank you, and give it back to the moderator.
Thank you very much, Masana. Yes, we will visit also. I think we will bring Mr. Alex to check on Oramon, Basana.
Sure. Looking forward.
Yeah, thank you, Basana, for your sharing. Of course, Labuan Bajo is a remarkable place with international tourism competitiveness. This is our leading spot, ready infrastructure with unique Komodo existence and everything that we need to attract international people to come there. We have already. And also the local content involvement also is in line with our commitment in G20 and B20. So thank you for the insight, Barsana. Now I would like to move to the respondents. The first respondent is coming from Russia, Mr. Alexander Popov, the chairman of the Commission on Foreign Economic Cooperation with Partners in Indonesia of the Moscow Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Go ahead, sir. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon, dan selamat siang, ladies and gentlemen, bapak-bapak, ibu-ibu sekalian. Your Excellency, Duta Besar Republik Indonesia untuk Moskow, Bapak Jose Antonio Marato Tavares. Terutama saya sangat berterima kasih kepada Pak Tatang yang membuka peluang untuk bicara bahasa Indonesia. Dan kalau para peserta tidak keberatan, saya akan menggunakan bahasa Indonesia, apalagi apa yang saya ingin katakan, terutama ditujukan kepada pihak Indonesia. Kepada peserta yang lain, nanti saya akan memberi penjelasan. Terutama saya ingin beritahukan bahwa di Kadin Moskow, ini khususnya Kadin dari ibu kota Rusia, Moskow, saya mengepalai komisi untuk kerjasama dengan Indonesia. Dan kami khususnya bekerja dengan para pengusaha kecil menengah ke atas. Dan dalam hal ini kami akan sangat ingin membantu kepada para eksportir dan pengusaha Indonesia yang ingin masuk pasar Rusia. Dan dalam hal ini informasi khususnya untuk Ibu Siti Aziza, bahwa andai kata ada para pengusaha eksportir yang ingin menempatkan informasi mengenai barangnya, kami sangat siap untuk memberi fasilitas buat periklanan barang tersebut. Sekaligus saya ingin juga sampaikan bahwa dalam pekerjaan mengenai menjalin hubungan dengan para eksportir yang ingin masuk ke pasar Rusia, kadang-kadang kami sekarang menghadapi masalah bahwa orang yang sendiri menulis permintaan misalnya kepada perwakilan perdagangan Indonesia di Moskow mengenai bantuan masuk ke pasar Rusia, kadang-kadang tidak menjawab atas pertanyaan kepada mereka dari pihak kami. Kadang-kadang bilang bahwa ada sanksi, maka kami tidak siap untuk bekerja sama. Ya, jadi mungkin informasi yang bersangkutan bisa disampaikan kepada para pengusaha itu bahwa mereka tidak akan terkena sanksi kalau mereka akan bekerja sama dengan Rusia. Terus satu hal lagi yang pernah disinggung hari ini, bagaimana misalnya oleh Pak Tatang, bagaimana bisa ekspor Indonesia ke Rusia dinaikkan pada masa sekarang ini. Dan dalam hal ini saya harus bilang bahwa mungkin persis sekarang ini ada suatu kesempatan yang sangat baik untuk sangat menaikkan ekspor ini, misalnya di salah satu bidang yang sangat sensitif untuk penduduk Rusia. Bapak dan Ibu pasti tahu bahwa akibat sanksi Barat, kebanyakan produsen mobil dari Barat, dari Jepang, dari Korsel, boleh dikatakan pergi atau kabur dari pasar Rusia. Sehingga sekarang kebanyakan mobil yang dijual di Rusia adalah mobil produksi Rusia sendiri dan terutama dari Cina. Sedangkan kita tahu bahwa Indonesia sekarang merupakan suatu produsen mobil khususnya mobil merek Jepang, khususnya Toyota yang sangat besar, dan setiap tahun ekspor mobil dan spare part untuk mobil dari Indonesia mencapai beberapa bilion US dollar. Sehingga saya menawarkan kepada pihak Indonesia mempertimbangkan kemungkinan mengadakan ekspor mobil yang mungkin setengah jadi untuk dirakit kembali di Moskow di Rusia, ya, atau mungkin mobil jadi. Ya, kalaupun kesepakatan yang bersangkutan bisa dicapai dengan Toyota atau dengan produsen Jepang yang lain. Ya. Terus mengenai perkembangan kerjasama di bidang pariwisata, dan saya sangat setuju dengan Ibu Shana bahwa di samping Bali, di Indonesia ada banyak sekali tempat bagus, dan terutama Labuan Bajo. Kami juga sangat berharap bahwa banyak sekali wisatawan Rusia yang akan menuju ke sana. Tetapi saya juga sangat berharap bahwa akan ada arus yang lain dari Indonesia ke Rusia, supaya sebanyak mungkin wisatawan Indonesia bisa berkunjung ke Rusia. Apalagi sekarang juga ada peluang baik karena tidak begitu banyak wisatawan dari barat datang, yang datang terutama dari Tiongkok. Dan dalam hal ini mungkin bisa dipertimbangkan supaya pariwisata Indonesia ke Rusia bisa digabungkan dalam suatu paket dengan umroh, supaya setelah berkunjung ke Mekah, para haji bisa berkunjung ke tempat Islam suci di Rusia seperti Tatarstan, Bashkortostan, Dagestan, dan juga Moskow dan Sankt Petersburg. Dan mungkin di Indonesia diketahui bahwa Sankt Petersburg terkenal dengan adanya Masjid Biru yang telah dipugar berkat usaha dari Bung Karno. Jadi ini suatu masukan bagi para pengusaha Indonesia yang bekerja di bidang pariwisata, ya, supaya itu bisa, hal seperti ini bisa dipertimbangkan. Dan mengenai pariwisata Rusia ke Indonesia, tentu kita tahu bahwa ada perkembangan yang sangat besar, sangat cepat. Dan sayang sekali pada waktu terakhir ini terjadilah sejumlah hal yang tidak begitu menggembirakan di Bali, ya, di mana para wisatawan Rusia yang tinggal lebih lama daripada dibolehkan, diizinkan sesuai dengan kesempatan visa on arrival. Ada sejumlah dari mereka yang mulai bekerja yang juga tidak sesuai dengan izin visa itu, ya, sehingga Gubernur Bali Bapak Wayan Koster telah membuat pernyataan bahwa visa on arrival untuk wisata Rusia harus dicabut. Saya pikir daripada pencabutan ini mungkin para pelanggar dari peraturan ini hanya bisa diusir dari Bali, dikembalikan ke Rusia atau ke negara yang lain daripada melakukan pencabutan dari visa on arrival yang merupakan suatu fasilitas yang luar biasa bagus bagi semua pengunjung dari Rusia. Jadi saya harap bahwa hal ini bisa juga disampaikan oleh Ibu Shana kepada Bapak Sandi Uno. Dan dalam paparan dari Adperdak Rusia untuk Indonesia, Bapak Alexander Svinin telah disebut bahwa 10% dari penduduk Rusia adalah orang Muslim, yaitu sekitar 14,5 juta. Tetapi menurut informasi kami, paling tidak jumlah Muslim asli Rusia adalah 20 juta orang. Dan bersama dengan para pendatang dari negara tetangga seperti Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, dan lain-lain, jumlah penduduk muslim sekarang di Rusia sampai 30 juta orang. Ya, sehingga kerjasama di antara dua negara bisa juga dilakukan sesuai dengan adanya penduduk yang begitu besar dari muslimin di Rusia. Jadi itu bisa dilakukan berdasarkan kerjasama antara organisasi-organisasi muslim Rusia Indonesia dan mengenai misalnya perdagangan dengan barang-barang halal. Seperti diketahui, Indonesia setiap tahun mengimpor lebih dari 200.000 ton dari daging sapi. Dan ini terutama dari India, dari Brazil, bahkan Amerika Serikat, dan negara yang lain. Sedangkan Rusia, khususnya Republik Tatarstan dan Bashkortostan, juga bisa menawarkan daging sapi kualitas yang sangat tinggi, yang juga berstandar halal. Dan standar ini ditetapkan dan diterima oleh para ahli dari negara-negara Arab seperti Emirates. Ya, jadi hal ini juga saya tawarkan untuk dipertimbangkan dengan serius. Dan tentu saja kerjasama antara para muslimin kedua negara kita tidak hanya berkaitan dengan perdagangan saja, tetapi ini juga akan dilakukan dalam bentuk pertukaran para mahasiswa dari perguruan tinggi Islam dari kedua negara, dan hal ini sudah dilakukan. Dan ada juga harapan bahwa para guru dari Indonesia bisa juga berkunjung untuk bekerja di perguruan tinggi di Tatarstan dan Republik di mana mayoritas penduduk Islam Rusia. Saya juga harus sampaikan bahwa di Moskow dalam waktu dekat ini akan dibangun suatu masjid besar baru, dan besar kemungkinan bahwa proyek dari masjid ini akan juga dipersiapkan oleh salah seorang arsitektur dari Indonesia. Namanya sekarang saya tidak bisa menyebut, tapi asal usulnya dari Jawa Barat. Ini orang yang cukup terkenal ya, di Indonesia. Mengenai perdagangan, tentu saja kita sekarang punya banyak kekurangan akibat sanksi khususnya di bidang perbankan. Dan supaya transaksi bisa dijalankan lebih lancar, lebih bagus, tentu ada sangat baiknya kalau di Indonesia sudah ada suatu bank Rusia yang bekerja sebagai bank Indonesia, tapi dengan modal Rusia. Sehingga pada suatu tahap mungkin kita bisa mencapai suatu kemungkinan pemakaian rupiah Indonesia dalam transaksi perdagangan antara kedua negara kita. Ya, dan saya harap bahwa dalam waktu yang dekat kita bisa menemukan suatu peluang ketika suatu bank Indonesia bisa dibeli oleh suatu bank Rusia.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Popov, for the information. It's very valuable for all of us. Of course, we're gonna keep in touch with Mr. Popov for more information about this. There's new fresh information that we as an Indonesian businessman needs. And right now I want to move to the next respondent, Mr. Lubarto Sartoyo.
We will extend. I think we will read.
Yeah.
I think we can read for the question, some of the question first that are appointed to Basana and
sure.
then Patatang, because maybe there will be living.
Sure. Yeah, there are some interesting questions. First question is for Ibu Siti Aziza. Apakah UMKM bisa disupport untuk turut hadir bersama para delegasi yang akan berangkat ke Moskow? Silakan Ibu Bu Siti, ada pertanyaan dari peserta.
Mungkin ini bisa dari Ibu Siti dan dari Pak Tatang juga ya Pak Tatang, karena pertanyaan kepada kementerian. Apakah para UMKM yang berniat untuk menjual produknya di Moskow bisa mendapat support dari kementerian untuk mereka berangkat? Saya serahkan Pak Tatang waktu dan tempatnya.
Silakan Pak Bu.
Pertanyaan dari mana Ibu Arsela? Dari Ibu Aziza?
Dari Ibu
dari
Nur.
Peserta.
Ya,
mungkin Ibu Aziza dulu yang membidangi UMKM ya. Nanti kantor Menko akan melihat dari sisi makronya. Kami persilakan Ibu Deputi.
Baik. Ibu Deputi.
Apakah masih hadir?
Mungkin tidak, Pak.
Oh ya, kalau tidak mungkin kami coba menjawab. Yang pertama memang saat ini Indonesia pemerintah sedang membentuk yang namanya Satgas Peningkatan Ekspor. Satgas Peningkatan Ekspor ini menindaklanjuti arahan Presiden untuk kita melihat pasar-pasar non-tradisional yang bisa kita akses secara kuat di tahun 2023-2024. Ini untuk mengantisipasi kemungkinan setelah tren positif terus-menerus sumber daya alam kita itu trennya positif naik terus selama hampir 34 bulan. Kita sedang mengantisipasi agar di tahun 2023 dan 2024 itu kita bisa tetap naik. Salah satu yang sedang kita garap adalah terkait dengan UMKM, bagaimana peranan UMKM untuk bisa masuk ke dalam pasar-pasar non-tradisional. Sehingga apa yang tadi ditanyakan oleh peserta terkait kemungkinan peserta diberikan fasilitas untuk mengikuti acara bisnis forum di Rusia. Kita akan koordinasi dengan Kementerian Perdagangan karena terkait dengan pameran, terkait dengan hal-hal kunjungan seperti ini di bawah Kementerian Perdagangan. Kami di kantor Menko dengan Satgas tadi akan memberikan catatan untuk jangka pendek di bulan Mei apakah dimungkinkan untuk perdagangan bisa memfasilitasi kunjungan dimaksud. Demikian Pak Iksan dan Ibu Ansela.
Terima kasih Pak Tatang. So basically, the coordinating Minister for Economic Affairs will be coordinating with Ministry of Trade for the support of our business trip, expo attendance, and so on and so forth regarding these partnerships. So we hope for the positive response. Thank you, Mr. Tatang. Selanjutnya ada pertanyaan lagi dari silakan Mbak Zela.
Tadi untuk Mbak Sana ya, Mbak Sana ada pertanyaan terkait
di WhatsApp dulu ke grup Botani dulu ya, resminya nanti aku bikin emailnya ya.
Investasi di Labuan Bajo, apakah ada persyaratan untuk orang Rusia? So I will just read in English. So is there any like special requirement for the Russian people who want to invest in Labuan Bajo? Is it like how much is the minimum, or is there any other regulation that they need to follow?
At the moment, there's no like special regulation for a Russian to invest to Labuan Bajo, but however, if you have any interest to do that, please let us know, and then we can start from that. And what we have so far, actually, sometimes they are working together with local partners, so it will be help a lot, and it will be easy for you if you don't want to have a big quite headache for investing directly. But however, what we're looking for here is actually not only for investment, but also for the market access. So it will be a good positioning for strategic partnership with local partners here we have in Labuan Bajo.
Okay. Any regulation on how much?
No. So like like minimum, like etc. So we are following like the same standard investment regulation for or foreign investment, yeah, for all FDI to Labuan Bajo is the same. So we can also see that in the BKPM from the Ministry of Investment, all the requirements is all the same.
Okay. Thank you, Mbak Sana.
Yeah.
Iksan, any other question
Thank
for
you,
Mbak Sana?
Mbak Sana, for the information. Next, we are going to the next respondent, Mr. Lubarto Sartoyo, Russian Association of Exporters and Importers Committee Head, Orvala AAA Advisory Board Chairman. You have the stage, Mr. Yeah.
Ya, terima kasih. Thank you very much for organizer. Thank you very much for all speakers, especially Your Excellency, Mr. Ambassador Joseph Tavares and Mrs. Ludmila Varabieva. Of course, I agree with my colleague, Russian trade representative Pak Alexander Svinin and Indonesian Pak Jeremy. And especially thank you for your comment about the payments and logistic. And of course, Russia is a rich country, and so of course, you know, there's the huge market. The country produced oil and gas, and of course, the domestic markets and production are developing, and here a lot of rich people. And the fact that quantity of Muslim population in Russia is growing every year, plus 25% year in a year. This is you can focus on halal business in developing in Russia. And I would like to add that the import substitution in Russia in 2022 is within 30%. It means that the remaining 70% of goods have to be purchased abroad. And in 2022, many global international brands left the Russian market. The companies, the representative from Europe and from America, different categories of goods stopped the work in Russia. Many manufacturers closed the factories, suspend production from clutches, from shoes, medicines, cosmetics, cars, electronics, etc. Even coffee brands, for example, Italian big international brand and Paulig left from the Russian market. And the Russian business turned to the Asia. And this is a great opportunities open up for the importer, business, and investors. This is a chance to enter to the Russian market. And how to be to success factors, how not to lose your money and not make a mistake. I think any points to consider. Business is done by people. Choose the right business-oriented team, like Orvala in Russia. In Russia, in Indonesia, people who live here more than 10 and more than 50 years. For example, I'm living here more than 35 years, and they know English, Bahasa, and Russian language also. The second point is work with the business directly. This is the B2B scheme. Use guaranteed connections. For example, I'm a businessman. I understand this very well. For example, direct connect with our association of exporters and importers. This is more than 6,000 companies. And the third point, choose proven marketing tools, business missions, participation in exhibitions is important, in conferences, direct meeting with buyers and sellers. Orvala organize and participate more than 50 events in a year. In this, for example, B2B events, for example, purchasing center, World Food Exhibition will be in September. Product Expo, there's a Product Expo in February. Today and yesterday, I was in a Coffee Tea Expo. This is a huge expo, a very, very interested in the Indonesian market. And then a week later, Expo of Tires and Rubbers, and each. And of course, Orvala is a young but very energetic team, and already experienced team. We speak in both languages, Russian and Indonesian, and I think that's very potential. And please connect with us, and we will help to you how to enter the Russian market. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Roberto, for the useful informations. And as Mr. Roberto said, of course, Orvala, Amarcon, and Mana Group, we are here to help you to enter the Russian market, and also to help Russians business to enter Indonesian market. So basically, we have experiences, and we can do our best for this. So next, we move to the next respondent. The next respondent is coming from Russia also, Miss Yelena Preobrazhenskaya, CEO Amarcon Group. Go ahead, Miss.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, hi. Hi, Yelena.
Okay, good. Yes, nice to meet you very much. And first of all, I would like to tell you that really that's great that we have today this event because it's very important. We got a lot of questions about how we can cooperate between Russia and Indonesia because now my company Amarcom and Hansela's company Mana Group, we are preparing business mission to Moscow, Russia. And it will be, I think, one of the biggest events from 2019 when we organized a lot of Indonesian events in Moscow. I would like to share the presentation and to tell you more. Do you see the screen, right?
Yes, we see. Yes, we see.
Okay. Yes, so that's good. So now we're preparing the business mission to Russia, Moscow, dedicated to the second Eurasian Economic Forum in Moscow. And this forum will be attended by the heads, the leaders of their Eurasian state members. And so the business mission will be organized by Amarcom and the Mana Indonesia Group. and under support, of course, and thank you so much for this big support as an assistance, the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia to the Russian Federation and the Republic of Belarus, because, you know, that is, it will be the Eurasian Economic Forum. And so the AMARCOM is officially appointed by the Eurasian Economic Commission to assist the invite state bodies and the business communities to Indonesia, to Russia, to the Russian Business Forum. And AMARCOM had organized a lot of events in Moscow before the pandemic time. I think that many of you knows about the big festival in Indonesia that we organized in Moscow during 4 years from 2016 to 2019. As well, in 2019, we organized Indonesia-Russia Business Forum, and in 2018, Expo Fest Indonesia-Belarus. And it was really great opportunities to meet the business and state bodies from Indonesia and from Russia, and to give more information about Indonesia to Russian citizens and to Russian entrepreneurs.
Tolong dikunci-kunciin.
So, and MANA Group, MANA Indonesia Group also is officially supported by the trend representation of the Russian Federation and the Republic of Indonesia. You heard today the Alexander, he's totally support our desire to bring the delegation to the Eurasian Economic Forum. And so now we have the road to our business mission to Moscow, and I would like to tell you that today we start with the webinar, but as well we have a great opportunity at the airport, Soekarno-Hatta, to make the display and the exhibition of the Indonesian and made in Moscow products that we are going to make it in during April to December. So if you have any desire to be there, or it's concerning the Indonesian and Russians as well, who would like to have display there, you can contact with Hansela and she will explain everything, how it could be organized. So today we have this webinar, and then the next step, it's in May to come to Moscow. And I would like to invite all of you. And we have these 2 parts of program, 24 and 25 of May. It will be the 2nd Eurasian Economic Forum. And you will be able to visit the main program of the forum, and as well, the big part that we are especially invited, all of you, it's Eurasian Economic Union Indonesia Business Dialogue. And Eurasia Economic Union Indonesia Business Breakfast that will be organized by AMARCOM together with Roscongress. And as well, of course, during this business forum, we will be able to arrange for you business meetings, because it will be a lot of state-owned and private companies, the leaders of them who come to this forum. And the second part of our business mission will be the business program. It will be so 26th of March, the next day after forum, with support of Moscow government, we would like to organize the Indonesia-Russia Business Conference. And there will be opportunity to make presentations of your companies and to meet with Russian companies, and not only Russians, you know, because the His Excellency Mr. Tavares informed you that it will be the delegation from Belarus as well, and it will be possible to meet with companies from Belarus and other Eurasian Union countries. So it will be as well the press conference, gala dinner, ambassadors, business lunch, and as well for the expo, as well we are going to organize Indonesia Expo Days in the center of Moscow. So now I will tell you with more details. So this is the place where will be in Eurasian Economic Forum. Will be organized. This is the building of Moscow government on Novy Arbat Street. It's in the center of Moscow. So some words about, again, the Eurasian Economic Forum. Every year at this forum is held in different countries, and this year the owner of the business forum is Moscow, Russia. And and of course, it will be attended by the wide range of participants and the country leaders, the ministries, the officials, and the medium and small enterprises from the member states, and representatives from international and educational, scientific organizations. So it will be really huge. And as I told you, it will be the plenary session with their presidents of the countries of Eurasian Union. So now it's about the business dialogue that will be organized 25th of March, and it will be organized by Eurasian Economic Commission Trade Unit and the Ministry of Industry and Trade of Russia. And it will be the stakeholders, companies, maybe members of Industry and Business Association of the Eurasian Union, and of course, all embassies of the Eurasian Union states will take part, and all business organizations will take part and will be partners of this. You can see some participants who are going to come. You see that this is the biggest Russian companies and Belarus companies, Armenia, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, and so you are very welcome. So you can meet with all of these companies and organizations. This is really unique opportunities. And on the 25th as well, we are going to organize the business breakfast. So it will be in format of round tables with special topics, and we will inform you later what kind of topics it will be. But we want to know all requests from the delegation that we are going to bring from Indonesia. So, and we are going to find the companies and from Russia and from the Eurasian Union who can join these round tables and can really make the dialogue with all delegates from Indonesia to find real practical effect and results, you know, to make business. So the next day, we are going to make, with support of Moscow government, the business conference for the delegates from Indonesia, and it will be as well press conference. And so, as I told you, that it will be the time to present your own company, and of course, time for big networking with participants from Russia and other Eurasian countries. So it will be gala dinner as well. So we have different opportunities for the participants. So if you are interested in to join, you can talk with Hansela. She will explain all opportunities and how to take part in all these events. So, and what about, I would like to tell you more, this is in the Indonesia Expo Days. Now we are going to organize it in the center of Moscow. You remember who maybe have been to Russia during the festival in Indonesia that we organized. It was really a lot of visitors. Could you imagine that on the festival it was more than 100,000 visitors for the festival in Indonesia that we organized before. And so this year we are going to start with this Indonesia Expo Days. It will be on Tverskaya Square near the Tverskaya Street, so opposite of the City Hall. You can see this red building, the beautiful one, and this is the place for main Moscow fairs. So you can imagine how many visitors will be there and how big interest will be there. So we are going to make there the exhibition and the opportunity to sell the products, and some performances and fashion show from the Indonesian side, some workshops and degustation. It depends on your request, on your needs. We will be here to assist you to organize the format that you need and to invite there the people who can buy your products, who can be your partner maybe in the future. So it will be 2 days during the weekend when you can be there, and so to meet with Russians and so to sell your product, to represent your product to the big Russian market. So terima kasih. Thank you so much. If you have any question, how you can go to Moscow, to the Eurasian Economic Forum, please be free to contact to Hansela or me. So we'll be in contact every day now, preparing the best opportunities for you to find the best results for your business in Russia in this new reality. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you, Elena. Spasiba.
Thank you, Ms. Helena. Thank you for information. I hope the audience will be prepared for the valuable chance to get to Russia, get in touch with the Russian business. So next, we have a last respondent from Indonesia, but he's now staying in Russia, Mr. Andre Septianto, the head of IDN Global in Russia, Indonesia Diaspora Global in Russia, Commissioner Orvala PAA. Mr. Andre, you have the stage.
Thank you very much, Iksan. Such a wonderful day from St. Petersburg, Russia. And this is such a great opportunity to become to this webinar Indonesia-Russia, which is, I think, the first step for the bright future for Indonesia-Russia business development. And I would like to say Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh before, and to your Honor, Mr. Jose Tavares, the ambassador of Russian Federation and Republic of Belarus, and maybe the Mr. Tatang Yuliono as deputy for Minister of Economy, coordinator economy, and Ibu Siti Aziza as SME Minister of SME, Cooperation and SME, and all other amazing speaker that previously has mentioned, like Mr. Alexander Swinin and Mr. Jeremy, and also Mr. Alexander Popov, Mr. Roberto, my dear colleague friends, and all the moderator and organizer here. This is really nice day. Actually, I want to say short response to the what Mr. Tatang Yuliono said, also supporting that this is the great opportunity, and previous speaker as well with Mr. Popov, Alexander Popov said, and Mr. Alexander Swinin, that the great opportunity start from now, because the better we start, the sooner the muscle in the result. But not to forget, as well as we being mentioned by Ibu Siti Aziza, as the current situation, we see that the APEC Plus decided to make $100 per barrel, which is also the challenges for the world economy today, which is, and also the unipolar movement from the West side government today. It's actually giving a good chance for Indonesia to step into, in two sides. So not taking awareness of afraid to be joining between afraid being getting sanctioned or anything. As we know, the movement of multipolar world in the future is getting closer, since most countries already talking about the dollarization and everything. I hope the government have the concern to analyze. This is the very part of our future countries. I'm here in Russia for 17 years, and I'm also doing import from 2015. Many containers has been moved from Indonesia to Russia. I've been having many profit with my experience, And according to the experience that I have in building business with Russia, it's not only enough having only a business mission or having only the bridge like communicating and etc. But out of that, there is many barriers that we have to consider as it is actual today. It's not enough only making the biggest export or OMKM to do the export, but without having a bridge for these missions. Of course, this great mission that being held by Inaris and everyone, all the organization, Orvala, or either Amarcom, is a good beginning. But we have to consider the problems is still there, which is, as mentioned before, it's probably not closing, but as we see, the China already put signature MOU with the Russia to do the dollarization and BRIC countries. So the BRICS is the only options maybe for joining, strengthening the trade between countries for the future economies, for the multipolar world that in the future we can see. And I think this is also has to put in, how to say, in consideration. So Indonesia could join BRICS in the future. That's maybe my response to the government official, which is this is also first change. And yes, we as an Orvala, we have a good media, as mentioned by Mr. Lubarto, that now we have translate our webinar here. And I hope this is not the only webinar will be happening in the future as well with Russia, Indonesia, always coordinating. And we will ready to support as a diaspora as well. Many Indonesian states in Russia, they know the culture, they know the language, they know the people. And this is also one of the pain point that has to be in concern. It's not about being dialogue in English, but Russian has, mentality to say straightforward. Meanwhile, Indonesian has the mentality to stay calmness, to speak the calmness. So this is also the barrier that we can, how to say, to solve or to make the bridge out of the business mission and the marketing investigation, as mentioned by Mr. Sisi Aziza, as I agreed before. Maybe that's a short response from me. Thank you very much for these opportunities to the organizer as well, the team who organized this such a short time. I know it's very hard, but you are doing good work, good deed for the best future for Indonesia and Russia. How to say, foundation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andre. Okay. Thank you very much for the insight.
Yeah,
And
thank you, Mr. Andre, for the insight. Maybe there are any things that needs to be added by Miss Hanzela, CEO Mana Group.
Basically, of course, I would like to say, first of all, I would like to say thank you very much for Mr. Ambassador Jose, of course, for helping us with everything that we need to prepare this in also such a short time. Also, Ms. Elena, because we are working day and night to be able to hold the events in Moscow. And Team Orvala, of course, to help us to arrange for this webinar. And then we want to say our gratitude also to Madam Ludvina, and then Alexander Spinin, of course, Mr. Jeremy, Mr. Popov, Basana, Patatang, and all the people that are already supporting us for this. And we hope that we can promote Indonesian product in Moscow. Like on the 22nd of May, bringing Indonesian company, SMEs, and then for us to be able to enter the Russian market that we can promote Indonesian market and then introduce Indonesian product, and then to be able to stay there and then like to be consumed by Russian people. So we can also finally have lots of product of Indonesia in Moscow. And then Pak Jeremy, I would like to also question about one question that are interesting for me, because they are asking about the delivery of the product from Indonesia to Russia. For the product that they want to bring, is it possible to do it like in a half 1 month? Is Pak Jeremy still here?
Yes.
Yeah, Pak Jeremy. So the small medium enterprise was like asking, is it possible to send the product for 22nd of May, because they need to prepare for the events, because lots of the SMEs are interested to join our expo in Moscow.
Well, if you ask for the possibility, yes, it is possible, but of course you have to have the service providers, the right kind of service providers. For that, I think you should ask, because I don't really have any information for commercial purposes, or non-commercial purposes in this case, but you have also, of course, have to deal with the documents. But it's possible, if it's by plane, so air cargo, it's possible, still possible, but I don't know the price or the minimum weight. I don't have any idea. Thank you.
Okay. Also to Mr. Lombardo and Pak Andre, thank you very much for the time and everything. I would really want to meet you guys all together there, and then for us to be able to have the events bigger with our collaboration, also with Elena, of course, my sister there in Moscow. So hopefully we can arrange everything, and then I hope that our events on the 22nd of May next month will be the opening door for Indonesian product, especially the SMEs and some of the companies that will join us. And maybe Mr. Jeremy, if we are able to have some MOU or maybe even directly purchase order from there on the events, I would like to ask for your help, and of course Mr. Ambassador to help us arranging for that, because on the webinar, we also have some buyer that are asking about it. So I was hoping that the embassy and then also the trade attaché, both from Indonesia and from Russian government, can help us to arrange this thing. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'd like to appreciate Mbak Hanzela for the closing remarks, and I would like to appreciate all our honorable speakers, opening speakers, Mr. Ambassadors, our keynote speakers from ministries, and our speakers from attaches, and also all respondents, and also, of course, the team that make it possible to hold this this useful webinar. And last but not least, I would like to appreciate all audience with their enthusiasms, and also would like to invite the audience, of course, to visit our next webinars and our very soon events in Moscow. Of course, we will work hard for this, so that you can get direct partnership in Russia via attending the expo. So as we come to the end of our session, I would like to take a moment to thank you again. And before we close, we would like to remind you that the recording of this webinar will be available for those who may have missed any part of it or would like to revisit the information shared. So you can check in our Orvala channel YouTube. And additionally, if you have any further questions or would like to continue the conversation, please feel free to reach out to us via our email, of course, Inaris info or contact@inaris.com.co.id also. And once again, thank you for your participation in today's webinar. We look forward to connecting with you soon again.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, moderator. Thank you.
Ya, terima kasih, Pak Tatang.
Terima kasih. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih, Pak.
Thank you so much. Waiting for you in Moscow.
Yes, we will. Hi, Titi.
Kalau boleh ya juga saya bilang thank you dear speakers and experts from various fields who have shared the knowledge and insights on the topic. Once again, we would like to invite you all to come to Moscow in May. Don't forget to take part in this amazing event, the Economic Forum that will be held in May once again. This is an excellent opportunity for you to connect with potential partners and learn more about both countries, Russia and Indonesia, because this is the crucial part of partnership. You have to understand the culture. So thank you all once again for joining us today. We wish you all good luck and success. Terima kasih banyak semua yang telah hadir pada webinar hari ini. Semoga informasi dan konten-konten bermanfaat. Dan semoga sukses kepada kalian semua. Dan sampai jumpa di Moskow bulan depan. Dan semoga semuanya berjalan lancar. Большое спасибо всем, кто принял участие в сегодняшнем вебинаре. До встречи в Москве. Ассаламу алейкум ва рахматуллахи ва баракату.
Thank you so much.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. До встречи в Москве. Ура!
Yes, hurrah. Pintar ngomongin ya, Pak. Pintar banget.